The National Rifle Association has faced explosive criticism in recent years as the number of mass shootings in the United States has increased. A recent feature in the New York Times Magazine describes how the organization's polarizing leader, Wayne LaPierre, is fighting a battle to retain control. A New York State investigation and accusations of fraud and betrayal have put LaPierre in a vulnerable position as the NRA works to push its agenda. New York Times investigative reporter Danny Hakim wrote the story. He joins me now from Maplewood, New Jersey. So can you give us a sense sort of about how Wayne LaPierre has maintained this influence and where it stands today?
Well, he took over the NRA, the top job at the NRA in 1991. And, despite the fact he's had a lot of troubles over the last year, he still maintained his job. It's a very large board. It's 76 members of the board. So it is difficult to oust him, and he's had many years to build up a lot of allies on the board. But I think the biggest thing that's hanging out there now is that the Attorney General of the state of New York is conducting an investigation that's been going on for several months now, and the Attorney General has the authority to go to court to seek to oust officers of a tax-exempt organization or oust board members. So since the NRA was chartered in New York, that's a pretty serious risk for them.
So what allegations are they pursuing right now? What's at stake for the organization and for Wayne LaPierre?
Sure. Well, this is an investigation that began in April. They're looking at a number of different things. I'd say among the most serious is sort of expenses, the way Mr. LaPierre has billed, around $250,000 worth of suits and other wardrobe items through one of the NRA's contractors. The same in terms of foreign travel, around over $250,000 worth. So that's one issue that's being looked at. But there are a number of issues. The Attorney General's office is looking at sort of campaign finance issues for potential violations. They're really looking at a whole host of issues.
You wrote that the NRA has transitioned from this nonprofit in practice to more of a nonprofit in theory. What does that change really look like?
Well, what I meant by that is it is a tax-exempt organization. It's a nonprofit, but a lot of the executives make a great deal of money. I think, I did an analysis and I found that the American Red Cross, is another tax-exempt organization, has about 10 times the revenue, but 8 executives of the NRA are out-earning the CEO of the American Red Cross. Mr. LaPierre, his total compensation was $2.2 million in the most recent year that they've reported. So while it is a nonprofit, it is a very lucrative organization for a number of people at the top.
There's been so much focus on the salaries and recently even the suits that Wayne LaPierre wore. Do you get a sense that in any way their base, the folks that really support and believe in them, the NRA card-holding members, have they lost faith at all in the organization?
Well, there is a lot of controversy now within the organization. There are some donors that are unhappy, that have expressed unhappiness with what's happened within the organization. There are some members that have expressed unhappiness. I think, but so far, LaPierre has been able to hold on. I think the question will be, what's going to, they'll have another convention. They'll have a convention later this year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens at that convention when the members gather, and also what the outcome of this investigation is.
Why do you think it is that he's been able so far to hold on to his position there?
Well, he's been doing this a long time, and a lot of these board members have close ties to him. Another issue that the investigation is looking at is a number of those board members have been earning tens of thousands, or in some cases even hundreds of thousands of dollars from the NRA. So in any situation where you have directors of a tax-exempt organization earning money from that organization, that's another thing that's going to be looked at. But also that's allowed, that's probably has helped Wayne LaPierre, keep the board with him.
Danny Hakim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.